Hello everyone, it's Gaggle. I'm back with another video. This is going to be the patch 9.12 notes update. I was away for a week on vacation, so I couldn't put out actual patch notes when they first dropped, so we're going to do the week after and the patch notes in the same video. So let's get back into it, shall we? So with this, there was some mid-patch updates here. A bug with Thresh, and Mord, they're toning down some of his base damage, some of his passive damage, some of his passive movement speed, his armor, his MR growth, his armor growth. Mordekaiser is alright, but while he does seem semi-oppressive, he doesn't actually seem to be really that busted, so I'm not sure if they needed to already nerf him, but they did. He's still fine, still playable. I have a whole video talking about my impressions of him up on the channel if you wish to go look at that. And just some bugs fixes with Yuumi. So let's jump into what actually happened during the patch. Mordekaiser was released. He seems to be alright. It's not another Akali where it's absolutely something that's completely disgusting, but it's not necessarily completely useless. He has his niche, and he's decent at it. He seems to be able to be built a multitude of ways and played in a multitude of roles relatively effectively. Next is Ryze, and there were a lot of Ryze changes. So let's get into this. Basically a rework, but he lost 100 mana, lost some mana regen, but to make up for this, he got more damage on his Q, and he got mana off his other spells. So his Rune Prison went down by 10 mana, his Spell Flux went down by 20 mana, and there's a lot of damage changes here. Some movement speed increase or decreases here. The Q no longer gives you a shield if you pop 2 runes. The Rune Prison is no longer a guaranteed route unless you have Spell Flux on, but the route is much longer if you have the Spell Flux already on, so it doesn't end up being that much. A little bit extra damage because of the bonus mana change here. Spell Flux lost a little bit of damage, lost some cost, and the bounces are more controllable. His Realm Warp also got another rank, and he now has this new passive here where the overall damage bonus against targets with Flux is increased to by these percentage. This used to be part of the E, but now it's part of the Realm Warp. The maximum cast range at all ranks is up to the max amount. So this is actually relatively big because Ryze's level 1 ultimate felt really crappy to use because that was such a short range. Now that it's always 3,000, you have more options for plays and the cooldown. So what did this really do to Ryze? Well, this makes Ryze more controllable, but he's still a very solid damage dealer. He still has good CC inside of his kit with the Empowered Rune Prison, which you almost always empowered before you Rune Prisoned anyway, where it mattered, so not much of a change. But yeah, all in all, makes him a little bit better for your average solo queue player, as he has more base damage here now, and you don't need to be quite as powerful or quite as good at combining the spells correctly to be able to get max value. And the ultimate always being that large distance means that you can move around the map and make more plays with it starting earlier on. There's some relatively large changes to Sylas as well. The passive now has 2 charges. The damage is decreased to minions. Sorry, not monsters, minions. the base damage is up a little bit. His Q got some of its ability power scaling off and a little bit of its base damage. His detonation range went down a little bit. The Kingslayer heal went up, and the ratio on that went up. And they removed the shield from the first cast and added it to the second cast, basically, as well as adjusting the cooldown to be higher at later ranks. So this has kind of brought Sylas down quite a bit. But if you know what you're doing with the champion, he's still good. He's still good because he can steal tons of high value ults with his ultimate. The passive is just going to take a little bit of getting used to, and he isn't going to shove as hard as he used to. Also, note that you can't use the first cast of the E for a shield. You have to use the second cast for a shield, and a little bit of the healing was given back. So overall he's about better in the all-ins, but his wave clear is a little weaker. And his cooldown on his E is up. Yuumi, her base health is increased, passive armor friend decreased early, shield decreased, W shared adaptive force adjusted, dash now is interruptible. Health, she gains basically an auto attack. This boop and block, the mana goes down to 30 to 160 from 40 to 160, and the shield is down 60 points at later, with the ability power scaling also going down. The You and Me, her W, she can now be CC'd while she's in transit, and the adaptive force now is a certain flat percentage, and then a certain amount of her allies' adaptive force. You still don't max this to last, so that's fine. This brought her down a little bit, but realistically she's still relatively powerful. She still does what she needs to. She's still safe, she's still annoying, so she's still going to be a powerful champion. Alright, now to the simple changes. Got a lot of changes in this patch. Aatrox, the passive cooldown on skills based on level. The Arc Healing Bonus now applies only to self-healing. Realistically, this changes some trade patterns of how you play the champion, but it's not going to matter too much for most people. The World Ender going to self-healing only really only mattered if you had something like a Soraka or a Yuumi attached to you. But outside of that, there are very few situations where this will not hurt your normal play, but maybe if you were doing it with someone and really abusing it, then now you can't do that as well. But he's still powerful. He's still very good at team fighting. He's still an absolute menace. He still heals for way tons of HP. Ashe W decreased, cooldown decreased. This isn't what is keeping Ashe from being played all the time. She just dies to every fighter and assassin super easily, so you need her to be in a meta where she can be relatively well protected, which she can't really right now. Not to say that she's bad, she's still alright in solo queue and stuff, but if you wanted to make her a top tier AD carry, she's more of a meta dependent AD carry than she is her kit. Caitlyn to AD. Kate is good right now, but this changes a little bit of a joke. A little bit of a joke. But Kate's good now. She's a little bit better since some other since over time people like Kai'Sa have been dropping off a bit. Caitlyn's kind of risen up to take her place. Solid AD right now. This change is nice, but not meta effective. The E cooldown increased, range decreased. The range doesn't really matter that much, as normally you throw it relatively close to you, because if you hit it, you want to be able to Q to them, so you only throw it out really to a distance that your Q is, plus a little bit of distance that you can walk and cover, and the cooldown is up 4 seconds. That hurts a little bit, but only really if you're missing. If you're hitting, you're going to kill someone anyway. It doesn't really matter, and this isn't necessarily an ability you spam off cooldown. It is an ability you look for situations or openings with to use. So these 4 seconds don't really do that much, and this range doesn't really do that much. So still a very powerful champion. Still very, very busted. Karma. Q slow increased, E cost decreased, move speed duration increased to match shield duration. So the slow goes up 10%, and the move speed goes up basically by a second to match the shield duration. Karma is actually quite good right now because of these changes. The move speed, just having was essentially a mini Sivir ult, is actually quite good when you have a lot of these fighters and stuff that just want to run at the enemy team and DPS them. So, as well as enchanters being more prevalent in bot lane right now, and having better champions that can abuse her range, like Caitlyn. Caitlyn Karma is a very powerful lane. Lulu, some visual effects, and then her shield's a little better. The cost is down at later ranks. This is visual effects. So getting 10 more shield is alright. It's not a huge change. The cost going down late is alright. Lulu is alright. These changes don't really push her up or down that much. So, Master Yi, this is a bug fix. Q, base damage decreased early. This hurts support Nautilus, more than it hurts necessarily lane Nautilus, as that 20 damage for those early all-ins can be relatively important, but at the end of the day, he's still probably the best all-in support right now. Tom W, minimum duration before champion regurgitation decreased. Allies can no longer release themselves early when CC'd. Allied champion spit range decreased, damage decreased early. What this kind of means now is if Tahm Kench eats someone while they're CC'd, they still have to wait out the duration of the CC instead of basically being able to use it like an instant QSS. But now you can get basically right back out of him after he eats you. Just if he's just eating you for you to dodge ability or get over a wall or something like that, then sorry, this champion is better now as a top laner, really, as he is very oppressive in lane. But, you know, this is a little, it's got ups and downs for support Kench. Zac W base damage increased, our knockback distance and Chuck spawn adjusted. So the knockback distance here means that you can actually hit them with more waves of the R, which means you actually can put some damage on them after you CC them, which is good. And the getting 10 more damage on your W is good too. So Zac is already fixing to probably come back here soon, or at least is in a better spot than he's been recently. So not bad. Give him a try if you like him, and definitely expect to see him a little bit more in solo queue, as he is one of the better tank junglers as far as actually being able to just do tons of crowd control and actually having decent ganks after first clear. And one item change, this is a really big change for a lot of mid and top laners, is Corrupting Potion. The bonus magic damage is 15 at all levels over 3 seconds instead of 15 to 30. This is a relatively big deal for a lot of mid laners. Now you might see them go back towards a Doran's Ring, as this is no longer as stat efficient, but this still is good as an option to sustain through the lane. So, yep. I want to thank you for watching. This has been the patch notes update for 9.12. I want to apologize, as I was away for the week. They didn't have a standard patch notes up, but we'll be resuming normal schedule in the former in the weeks to come, and I will have a Meta Monsters episode for this patch out within the next few days here.